Hey guys, what's going on? It's that home theater dude. Got a brand new episode for today. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the Samsung LSP9T. This is an ultra short throw laser 4K projector. You guys can just see it right behind me. It's a pretty big image and it doesn't take up that much space. Not a lot of drawbacks to this thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys all about that stuff, but I'm gonna do it right after the intro. Well, all right, let's jump into this video. Real quick, I want to let you know that Samsung and Elite Screens basically coordinated with me to get these in the house at the same time. This video is not sponsored. None of my videos are sponsored. They basically just sent me this gear to get my hands on it, let you guys know what I think about it. No money was exchanged. They're not giving me any talking notes, and they're not reviewing any of this footage before I put it out. So all these are going to be my own thoughts. So hang on, man. We're going to go on a roller coaster right now. So let's just start about short throw projectors in general. Let's talk about some pros and cons. Pro, they're lightweight. Con, usually a little more expensive. Another pro would be that you can physically just take this thing anywhere. That's what I'm talking about with the lightweight. You can physically just pick it up, take it to a game room. The kids want to play some Mario Kart in there, you're good to go. Or, you want to set up a movie time, in another room, you could do that as well. Or if you wanted to take it outside, you're more than welcome to do that. You can hang or you can put like an inflatable type of screen, shine it out there. I'd probably recommend doing it like at dusk or sometime darker, or you can physically just pick this thing up, take it to the garage, and you and your neighborhood can have like game night out there. The whole block will be playing Mario Kart, and it'll look really, really cool. But one of those things that I want to let you know about is that they say that you're not supposed to use a screen with this thing. Well, not supposed to is probably the wrong terminology. So what they're saying is that you don't need to use a screen with this unit. I'm gonna say use a screen with a unit. You can physically get an image. Yes, you can get up to a 130-inch image. That's going to be sharp on the corners and then throughout the actual image itself. But the reason why I'm saying get a screen is because there's texture on drywalls. No wall is absolutely flat. So the texture and the wavies and stuff like that you may not see just looking at your wall and thinking, oh yeah, well that's probably straight. It's probably not. So that's another reason why you want to get a screen. And the screen kind of has an asterisk on it, right? So make sure that you guys are getting a quality screen. You can't just cheap out and get any old screen. Everyone loves grabbing things off of, big box stores or just ordering things online. But, usually whenever you save money like that, you're kind of going to pay with it with the experience that you're going to have with it. So I'm not saying that all, cheap screens are going to be bad. What I'm saying is that you're going to be suffering with the build quality of those units. So you may not have an absolutely 100% true screen again, so they may not have the best quality control whenever you buy these things, so that it may not be 100% rectangular as it would be. Or, maybe the tension on the screen can cause you to have some wavies and stuff like that. So again, you're kind of wasting your money if you do that versus buying a good screen that's going to last, and it's also going to give you a great experience. So don't cheap out, grab a nice screen. You're gonna reward yourself with the benefit of there. Otherwise, the first time you see one of those waves on the screen, you're gonna be kicking yourself that you didn't spend the extra money and step up to something that's a little more substantial. So again, with these, it's really, really cool because it's an all-in-one unit. It's basically a smart TV that you can just pick up and take anywhere, and it's huge. So with that huge image, you get smart features built right into the unit. So you have Netflix, you have YouTube, you have all these other streaming devices like Disney Plus and stuff like that. I was kind of dreading getting this thing set up because I don't own anything Samsung. I'm an Apple guy. It makes it so easy for me just to sit there and use my whole ecosystem that I'm already used to using. But setup was a breeze on this thing. The apps are just really easy. They actually made it to where you have a QR code that you take your phone, shine it on there. So if you have an account with your Netflix or your Disney Plus or whatever, you would just shine it on to the image and then it would pull up right there. You would complete the setup and you're done. I think setup with all of the devices and all the apps straight up took me like 5 minutes. So I was dreading it, but whenever it happened in fruition, it made it a whole lot easier. So big ups to them on that one. That made it really, really easy. Okay, so like I was talking about, you can physically just take this thing anywhere. I would highly recommend grabbing an entertainment stand, having this thing sit on there, or even a shelf like we have back here. This is kind of like a modified TV stand, I guess. But this is a 9-foot room. So this is standard height for like a TV stand. So you might have to consider, if you have an 8-foot room like most people do, you might need to get something a little shorter for this thing to sit onto. So on the perch, it's 15 inches from the bottom of where it sits to the actual image itself. So you have to consider that this whole thing is going to move as a cohesive unit. So if you're limited on size up here, because you don't want this thing all the way up, because you're going to be looking, like this whenever you're watching your movies or your TV shows. So that's one thing you have to consider. So make sure it's going to be brought down a little bit. And this, if you guys are looking, this isn't an ideal image. It's not perfect. Again, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but this was kind of just a quick and dirty setup just to get it up there and enjoy it. So I didn't hang the screen as high as I should have. So I kind of limited myself by the size of screen that I could do, or the image that would be onto the screen based off of how I measured in the first place. So take your time with this one. It's not very hard to get it absolutely perfect. But again, like I was talking about, 15.5 from the perch, basically a flat plane, to where the image is at. And this is a 120 inch image. Another thing you will notice is on their website, I think it says that for that 120 inch image, to get that, it has to be kicked out, only a minimum of 7.7 inches. It's in millimeters on the website, but the conversion, that's basically what it is. So in reality, this is 9.5 inches from the back of the unit to the actual wall. Consider that if you do need an extra 2 inches or so for your HDMI connections, for your power cords, your Ethernet cable, you're going to need some extra room in there as well. So if you're going to butt this up against something, make sure that you're planning for that. But other than that, I think that this thing is pretty good unit. I mean, to be honest, 2800 lumens, 4K, HDR. It's actually really realistic, to be honest. The only downside that I found was that whenever you're sifting through the apps, right, specifically YouTube, the colors get extremely saturated. So the red to me, it didn't look like I know that the reds that I'm used to watching, whether it be on my cell phone, my laptop, or my computer, didn't look the same. So that's just one thing I noticed, but I'm sure with a little bit of calibration and a little bit of fine tuning, or if I were to even ask Samsung, hey man, what are some great settings to put this thing on? Then they would probably tell me, but I didn't. So this is just right out of the box. There wasn't any calibration done to it. And it was just on standard the entire time. I didn't change it to any of the other crazy settings for an extended period of time because I wanted to get a better understanding of how it looked in general. Okay, so again, this is a 4K triple laser ultra short throw projector. It's going to have that phosphor color wheel in there. It's a DLP projector. It's not native 4K. I don't think I've really seen one that is native 4K for ultra short throw. I think there's probably just one out there. But other than that, most of the ones you're going to see, they're going to have some funny wording on there, like 4K enhanced or 4K UHD. It's not native. So let me just let you guys know that now. I did review the VAVA. This one is a big leg up on the VAVA, but I mean, it's double the price of the VAVA. So it definitely would be better. With the VAVA, I definitely noticed that there was some imperfections in sharpness. So if you had the corners razor sharp, the center would be out of focus. You had the center razor sharp, the corners would be out of focus. I didn't really notice that big of an issue with this one per se. I noticed that the image just wall to wall, left to right, top to bottom, everything was in focus. The colors looked nice throughout. There wasn't any vignetting on the sides. If you guys don't know what vignetting means, is that, it kind of has that spherical type of appearance. So if you're looking through a lens, some of this stuff might be cut off. The edges could be cut off. It's not that case with this unit. Very, very impressive overall, and just the usability is just very easy. You can legitimately just use this just like a TV. This is a very similar remote to a lot of the Samsung TVs that you will already see already. So you can actually use the microphone on there. You can use a lot of different apps. You have the buttons here for that. And then other than that, I mean, it worked very well. I had my cable box connected to this thing in the first place. You would just press up and down on the remote. The volume would go up and down with the eARC on the back, which is really, really cool. So if you want to use this remote and you want to have this connected to your home theater system, connect it to your eARC, and then you can tell it whichever speakers you want to use with it. You can even go in there and tell it every single time in the settings which one you want to use, or if you would like to use this one right now, you can do it. If you want to use this one right now, you can do it. Okay, so another recommendation, use some speakers. It's cool that this thing comes with, all the smart features. It comes with the projection system, and it comes with the, speakers built into it. Highly recommend that you guys connect an outboard, source of sound some way or the other. You're going to reap all the benefits with it. The 4.2 channel system that's in there already It leaves a little bit to be desired. I didn't really find any issues per se. There wasn't crazy amounts of bass, but then how many TVs have crazy amounts of bass? But the dialogue came through natural. I didn't have to sit here and fiddle with the remote whenever I did use the speakers, so it's not like it fluctuates a whole bunch, except for whenever you're watching TV and almost every single commercial is like another 3 dB over what you're already listening to in the first place. But that just goes with anything. It'd be happening if you had your AVR on it. But I highly recommend that you guys connect this thing with another external unit for speakers. You're going to get a big image. Obviously, projection systems are cool, but you want to reap the benefits of that big image by having equally big sound. So I used a Enclave 5.1 wireless THX certified system when using this, and I thought that everything was very, very nice. That complemented the image that came off of this one very, very well. But you can also use the eARC on the projector, connect that to the eARC on your AVR or your processor, and then you can use this remote to turn up and down the volume. You can even go into the settings in here and tell it which source you want to use. So if you want to use onboard speakers with the unit itself, you kind of don't want to wake up the house, you know, you can sit there and watch some casual stuff at night. Or if you really want to sit there and, and shake your couch, you can turn on your, you can basically set this thing to use your AVR, and then you can have your full 5.1, 7.1 Dolby Atmos system going at the same time. This is not a Dolby Atmos projector. It's not going to shine onto the ceiling and give you, you know, the ceiling bounce effect with that. So don't think it does any of that. It doesn't do any surround sound either. So you guys want big sound, usually it's something that you're going to have to add later on down the road. Well, I said a lot of good things about this unit, so let me talk about some things that I think that could be areas of improvement. So again, with any ultra short throw projector setup, it's kind of a pain, right? So you have to take it out of the box, make sure that it's true, you know, up and down, left or straight up and down like this, and then you have to make sure it's true like this, and then you would have to make sure that it's not, you know, angled one way or the other, because that's going to give you a keystone. So that does take a little bit of time. You do need a little more advertised space than what they say on the website to physically have this thing away from the wall. It's not crazy like I've seen other projectors. I think even the Epson, like you have to be almost double the throw distance of this one. But the throw distance is actually, you know, pretty manageable with this one. Again, this is the 120-inch screen. This goes up to 130-inch, but basically you're limited up to 130-inch. With most any ultra short throw screens that I've seen out there on the market today anyways. So this is a 9-foot ceiling. So if you were to use this 120-inch image in your space, you would basically have to mount the projector physically lower in elevation to bring the entire thing down. Because like I was talking about, you need 15 inches from where it sits up to where it physically starts casting the image itself. So that means that, you know, if you go through all that headache of getting this thing set up perfectly, dog comes by, kind of lays down on it, or the kid comes by, bumps it, you're gonna have to finagle and jiggle it and make it 100% true again. The workaround, you can buy a nice entertainment stand. Typically these things, you don't see it at all. You don't even see the projector, but you would probably need to use some sort of surround sound with it. But it's basically into the entertainment stand and it'll cast onto the wall, which is really cool. So if you guys want that feature, you'll probably have to pay for it with a nice hefty furniture bill, but it's one of those form and functions that definitely pays off whenever you do it. So another downside, they say you don't need a screen with this one. So I would highly recommend grabbing a screen like I was talking about earlier. The cheaper you go on the screens, kind of as a blanket statement, the quality suffers. The metal isn't necessarily as strong as the more expensive units. And so that means that whenever you're using the unit, you're connecting it and physically assembling it. It may not be 100% true. You have to finagle and jiggle it and make it 100% accurate. And then whenever you wrap the screen around it, there could be wavies and stuff like that. So additionally, that means that a short throw projector needs an ultra short throw screen. So like I was talking about, you can physically just cast this onto the wall. It's not going to be ideal unless you have absolutely flat walls that are 100% straight and true. Then I would recommend grabbing a screen otherwise to help you get a better overall experience with it. So it's going to be flat, and if you buy a screen that's going to be worth, you know, the investment, you're not going to have to worry about any warping, twisting, or, you know, any wavy lines on the screen itself. But ultra short throw projectors need ultra short throw screens. So with ultra short throw screens, basically the way it goes is your light comes in from here, and then the screen itself is kind of like mini blinded. It's where it has like a kink out. So with this angle of incidence, the light hits this and it gets reflected back into your eyes, you know, at the proper angle. So that all happens by rejecting all the rest of the light coming from around it. So any light that comes from the ceiling, it doesn't affect the image that goes back into your eyes. Any light from the walls or the windows or the doors, same principle. So I highly recommend grabbing an ultra short throw screen with the ultra short throw projector. It's gonna make all the difference. It is more of an investment, but the rewards that you get on your investment are definitely going to pay off in the end. Okay, so a couple of things I left out are gonna be the smart features built into this unit. You can use Bixby, you can also use your Google Assistant and stuff like that. Another thing that I didn't use too many of that stuff because I don't really have much smart stuff in my house. Otherwise, the other thing I didn't let you know about was gaming mode. It's cool, it comes on, you turn on your Xbox and it goes to your game. It'll physically sense that and it'll flip it to game mode. Basically just enhances your experience with that. I didn't use it too much, I'm not a serious gamer. The very first time we set this thing up, I did notice that it did pop on. My friends were over here. We took the screen out of the box, assembled it, and the overall image sitting there playing Call of Duty on a massive screen like this is really, really cool. So if you haven't checked it out, highly recommend doing that as well. But my experience with this thing has been pretty stellar so far. I don't have too many gripes. I did notice that there was kind of like a drop frame every now and again. It really only did it on my cable box, so I don't think that it's per se an issue that's going to be withstanding with anything else. I didn't notice it on streaming. I didn't notice it on any other type of media that I put on this thing. So, I mean, it's a DLP. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, some people notice it, some people don't, but I mean, it is what it is. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. Not too much bad to say about it. Well, I think that's gonna wrap this video up. What'd you guys think about it? Let me know down in the comments. I mean, the ultra short throw projectors, they're here to stay. They're an amazing trend right now. You guys have just been blowing me up, asking me about when am I gonna put out this review. It's been a long time coming. I've had the unit in the house. I've basically just been using this thing daily for the longest time, and I highly recommend grabbing one. To be honest, we're probably just gonna grab one at the next house whenever we move. But other than that, I mean, I really enjoy it. There really isn't that much of a downside, except for just the downside of going with ultra short throw projectors in the first place. Like I was talking about, you need the unit, you need a screen, and you need to get a home theater system or a surround sound type system around it to basically build up the cast as it would be. Other than that, I got really nothing else to say about it. I think it's a pretty good unit, and I think you guys could definitely benefit from one as well. Again, the asking price is a little up there for most people, but again, you're getting triple laser on this one, 20,000 hours. You don't have to change a bulb, and that's usually what most people end up liking about it. Last thing I'm gonna say, yes, you can physically, put this thing upside down and hang it from the ceiling. Is it recommended? Hell no. The reason why I'm saying that is because you buy an ultra short throw projector and an ultra short throw screen to get that big TV-like experience. The downside to any projection system, doesn't matter what it is light in the room. Any light that's not coming from the projector is going to affect your image. So that means that with ultra short throw projectors, they need that ultra short throw screen to give you that ambient light rejecting properties around it. So if you have windows here, if you have lights over there, if you have a back door that's massive and whenever it cranks open, that's gonna affect all this stuff. So the ultra short throw screen is gonna help out with that. But I mean, it's directional. So if you hang it upside down, you're basically making all of that light that would be from the ceiling and all that light that would be from the lights over here or the windows, all that's gonna influence the image. It's gonna wash it out like crazy. So yes, you can do it. I would not recommend that you do it unless you're in an absolutely pitch black environment that you will never have any lights on whatsoever. Yes, hang it from the ceiling. You'll get your 130-inch image, razor sharp all throughout, crazy bright, and you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So that would be the only reason why I would say yes, but usually no. Hope you guys like this video. If you guys want to see more of these type of videos, let me know. I still have to review the Elite screens back there. Basically, like I was talking about, they sent these out at the same time, and I need to get their video out as well. But really appreciate you guys for following along. Thanks for all the patience with this unit itself. Big shout out to Elite Screens as well as Samsung North America for sending this unit out to me. Again, not a sponsored video, but big shout out to those guys. Got nothing else for you. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.